support the re-election of Ross. I think he's done a good job. I don't think that all of the nonsense press that he received has anything to do with his job. His job, I work with the department all the time. And I've contracted under Mike Hennessy. I've asked Mike Hennessy personally, why are you endorsing him? Because he said he's the most qualified for the job. And I believe that. So he built the department as it is. He worked with all of them. I'm only taking his word for it. I voted for Mike Hennessy personally 8 times. My family's been in San Francisco since 1945. I have watched my city become for sale.
Oh, I know the feeling.
And I absolutely cannot stand it. Now, I have nothing against any of the candidates. I have respect for all of them. I can work with any of them. But my personal belief is the press and money has done everything it can to ruin this man and his family. No action he ever created in his personal life had any effect on the sheriff's department whatsoever. So I think that that's absolutely wrong. And I have respect for all of the candidates, and I can work with any of them. Do you believe that? I'm supporting him, but if he doesn't win, I'll still support whoever's the sheriff. My family, again, has been here since 1945. I have watched my city be put up for sale, and that is not a very favorable outcome for the people that live here. Ross Mirkarimi has done an excellent job as sheriff of San Francisco, and he's a great legislator.
Hang in here.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, so I know you're all very anxious to hit the ground. We've got 2 weeks into the election, 2 weeks from Tuesday. If you haven't had your coffee or bagels or water, our campaign office is right there. But we thought that this is a great corner to help really electrify our Saturday. I want to thank you all for your commitment and time. We have 2 very well-known leaders who have shaped, sculpted, and who have motivated people like myself and so many others in progressive politics in San Francisco. And so I know we are deeply honored to have former Mayor Art Agnos and former Supervisor Carol Roos Silver, who is like right hand or left hand of Harvey Milk. Left hand. Left hand of Supervisor Harvey Milk here, so let's give them a round of applause. Yeah! I'm going to let them speak quickly, and then I'll give you why you should not read the Chronicle after them.
Thank you all for being here, for being out here for Ross on this very, very cloudy day. I brought an umbrella. I have great hope that El Nino is going to bring us a relief from the drought.
It's true.
But the drought of good people in elective office in San Francisco has already been repaired with Ross. Ross is one of the very, very best of the elected officials we have in San Francisco. When you think about all the people who you have read about in the newspapers, which one of them has given a job to a formerly incarcerated person to keep that person from breaking into your car or mine or onto a muni bus and robbing people? That is what people do when they come out of jail. If they don't have a way of supporting themselves, they don't have a job, they don't have a driver's license. That is one of the most important things that the sheriff has done. And the sheriff has also tried to save the money of the city of San Francisco, the taxpayers' money, by using deputy sheriffs in places where otherwise a much more expensive police officer has to be sent. That is, again, something that is a direct benefit to you and you and you and me. because I live not far from where we are speaking here, and I know that I'd rather have those dollars put into fixing the potholes on my street than put into having excessively trained police officers ferrying prisoners from the jail to the courts. So I urge you to support Ross Mirkarimi. I urge you to get out and to do the things that we all do at election time, put things on cars, put things in houses. Thank you for being here, and I love you all.
Good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be joined by an old colleague, meaning many years ago we served together in City Hall, and quite frankly, it was a hell of a lot more friendly City Hall than it is today. It's because of the values. Louder? I am not talking louder. Come a little closer, folks, because I've got a lot to say to you. You did hear that we worked together in City Hall, and it was a much friendlier City Hall to the issues we care about, and that's why we are here today together to urge you to continue doing what you have been doing for Ross in this election, even before this election, because he would not be here standing as he is, a worthwhile, strong candidate, were it not for all of you being there from the very beginning of the turmoil that has characterized too much of politics in this city, especially where he's involved. This is much more, this election is much more than a campaign around sheriff. It's about power in this city and who is going to govern. And Ross is seen as someone who doesn't play ball with the power brokers that truly control this city. That's what it's about. And that's why we have to fight back, because he does not back down. He did not yield when Ron Conway used all of his money, along with the mayor, to try to knock him out of office. He did not yield. He did not back up. He did not yield when over the last 3.5 years, the Chronicle has devastated him with half-truths and non-truths to try to destroy his career. He did not back down. And more recently, when immigration tried to use a terrible tragedy on the waterfront to eliminate him and his policies around Sanctuary City, he did not back down, even though it was very hard. And so now he goes forward, fighting as he has during all of those times, with one simple thing: you and the truth. And the truth is, as Carol started to tell you, that he has been a great sheriff, the best in this country. And I'm going to tell you, that's not me as a biased supporter saying it. I'm going to tell you who said it. But how has he become the best sheriff? Because he has emphasized, as Carol suggested, the rehabilitation of prisoners. We don't lock them up and throw the key away in a progressive city. We try to educate, we try to train, we try to bring families together so they can support each other in order to rehabilitate people to come back to a life that we all deserve in this city and in this country. So he's done that by being sensitive to families and mothers, for example, who are nursing, with transgender people who want to be together, with education, and an education system that is being copied around this country. Los Angeles, if you go to the jails of Los Angeles, you will see high school classes with a curriculum that says San Francisco Sheriff's Department. Thank you. So that's because ours is the best. Ours is the very best. And so we have to take that message out to the people of San. He's been doing it, Eliana's been doing it, and they have fought back. Eliana wrote a magnificent play that I predict will be on Broadway one day, with her starring in it, because it tells a story of truth. just as Ross has told his story of truth. And if enough people hear that truth, we win this campaign. We've already won this campaign. The question is, will we win the election? And that means we got to get to people, we got to tell them the truth, and they will respond and see through what the power brokers of this city do not want us to see. Now, that's just not me talking. An independent source, like the governor's top law enforcement person, came to see our jails at the beginning of the year, and he came away saying to the rest of the state of California, go look at San Francisco's jails, because they represent the best. Low census, rehab that gets people out, they don't come back. And he said, go see San Francisco. He didn't say LA or San Jose, he said San Francisco. That's where Sheriff Mirkarimi runs the jails. The governor's top law enforcement. And then out of 480 some proposals from around the country, Harvard University said San Francisco is the best and gave us $100,000 on top of it to educate and improve our teachers in the high school training program. Harvard University. You never saw that in the Chronicle because that's not something they want to broadcast because it involves the guy they don't want in the sheriff's office. So that's where we come in. We have to go out and tell people, did you know that Harvard University gave $100,000 and the top prize in this country to this sheriff because it was the best in this country? Did you know that the governor's top law enforcement person came here and said, if you want to see a great program, go see San Francisco where Sheriff Mirkarimi runs the jails? That's how we win this campaign. That's why we need you. And Carol and I, who have been through this so many times, know that without you, we will not succeed. So thank you for being here, and go out there and send them the truth and give them the message. Thank you very much.
Wonderful messages by Carol Silver and Art Agnos. I just want to remind folks, I'm sure you know this, that Art was our last progressive mayor in San Francisco, and that legacy, you know, continues, I think, to remind us of why this next 2 weeks is just so critical and so vital to make sure that we retain some progressive tradition, independent tradition in the city and county of San Francisco. And there's not many of me left elected citywide. The Chronicle knows that, others know it. It's been, you know, a constant, you know, I think, reminder by the Chronicle and their hits and everything else that they want to do everything you can to dramatically change the city, and the city is dramatically changing. But I believe we have so much on the line right now that is worth fighting for. To not let this criminal justice system be turned backwards, to not allow the mayor subordinate the sheriff's department to the police department, which is what he wants to do, and to not diminish our ability to really innovate in a way that leads the state and leads the nation. And so the next 2 weeks is going to be intense. And I'm not surprised that when I got the Examiner endorsement, and if you hadn't read the Examiner endorsements, I thought it was, yeah, I thought it was, anybody but Ross. Thank you. If you read the Examiner, you will see not only a smart analysis about the future of San Francisco politics, but the problem also with City Hall and the mayor. And with City Hall and the mayor, and the fact that they don't endorse a mayor and explain the void in City Hall in room 200, that shapes exactly where this city is going. So that one of the reasons that we fight and we resist is against that consolidation of power. The sheriff's office, as Mike Hennessy reminds me, and what Richard Hungisto reminded him, was that it is a constitutionally elected office. It is one of the only elected criminal justice office holders, and you do not want that bright line of our independence to be subsumed or chipped away by the police department or by the chief executive of the city, the mayor. And so that's why we continue to do what we do. It is really to continue to demonstrate the amazing work, like, yes, what Art talked about, getting the Harvard Award, first jail system in the country, to reduce the visiting age from 18 to 16. That wasn't some cavalier move. It was because we believe in trying to reunify children of incarcerated parents, which there's such a high percentage of in prisons and jails, and to make sure that we can help them improve their lives so they're less likely to return or less likely to be implicated in the criminal justice system. I mean, we're doing the kind of reforms that even more conservative counties are coming to us and saying, hey, we see what you're up to, we see what you're doing, we would also like to adopt, some of the best of what you have to offer. And that is really, I think, an affirmation and a testament of the good work that the people of the Sheriff's Department is doing. So I want to thank you all for being here, giving your time, giving your commitment, braving the noise, and there's just a lot on the line, folks. There's a hell of a lot on the line. And when you see the paper of record, which is more of a tabloid newspaper, really kind of come at you with the kind of really unsubstantiated hits, and they don't print retractions when we ask them to. There's been a number of times they don't print retractions, and they should have when we've proven when they're wrong. Just shows how you have to continue to just go forward and assert ourselves against that level of really ignorance and that just level of atrocious behavior for what we like to believe is a world-class city. So let's get out there, let's hit the ground. My amazing wife here, Eliana, we've discovered some very innate, dormant campaign manager talents that she has. And while she's being shy right now, which is hard to believe, it's also evident that she's been working, and our family's been working very hard, like so many of you have been joining us. So we've prepared packets and instructions of where we want people to go, to drop literature, to knock on doors, right? Some of them knocking on doors, getting window signs, and then joining us in other high pedestrian profile areas and handing out literature, okay? Sarah, why don't you come up and say something? Why don't you come up and say it? Eliana Lopez.
Yeah. Thank you. This is all new for me. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to remind the rules that we cannot drop flyers inside the house, right?
In the mailbox.
In the mailbox, we cannot do that. We have to knock the door and give that to the people. And also we have window signs, so you ask the person if they want to put the window signs.
You can put them in the door though, but not in the mailbox.
Okay.
On the door, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
These are flyers today. Door hangers are coming in this week, a whole batch, and we have a whole nother system. But we want people to get these signs, that those little ones on your stick, in their windows. This is a good crowd, but we've got a big city to cover. We're being strategic about what precincts we're targeting. There will be maps, and some of them will be lists. You're only going to those addresses that are on the list that we've qualified. But getting signs in people's windows, if you know people that can put signs in their windows, take some signs, okay? And then get them in windows. And if you can, sign up every single morning, every single afternoon. We are hitting the streets at Muni BART stations, prime time in the morning, prime time in the afternoon. So get out the vote, now begins. If anybody's going to the Potrero Hill Festival, there will be a contingent of us going to there as well too. And then if you want to just like hit any other sort of pedestrian, well-traveled areas, let us know and we'll suit you up. If you're hungry, bagels, coffee, water, just in the campaign office over there.